1.2. The importance of project management. The PMBOK guide defines project management, and it's important to remember this definition as well. Project management is the application of knowledge, skills, tools and techniques to project activities to meet the project requirements. Project management is accomplished through the appropriate application and integration of the project management processes identified for the project. Project management enables organizations to execute projects effectively and efficiently. Stop for a moment. Did you notice what I just said? Project management enables organizations to execute projects effectively and efficiently. Does that mean the projects can be completed without project management? Yes, that's exactly what it means. Is that a surprise? Many of the tools and techniques for project management were developed in the last century. For example, the Gantt chart, which is the basis of a project schedule, was developed in 1917 by Henry Grant and used in building ships for the First World War. Computerized project scheduling was first used in 1957 for the DuPont organization for decommissioning obsolete factories. And PDM, the precedence diagramming method, also known as activity on node, was invented in the 1960s by John Fondao as a hand-drawn alternative to the activity on arrow method used by computers. Ironically, modern scheduling software is based on John Fondao's hand-drawn precedence diagramming method rather than the activity on arrow method, which was originally used by computers. The critical path was foreshadowed in the 1950s by the US Navy in Critical Chain, but then developed by John Fondao and others into the critical path method. John Fondao also helped to found the Project Management Institute in 1969, and he later served as its president and chairman. Possibly the oldest project management technique has its roots in the second half of the 17th century when Blaise Pascal and Pierre de Fermat developed probability theory, which led to considerable improvements in calculating premiums for shipping insurance. Actual risk management was probably developed in the first half of the 20th century, and then in 1956 Russell Gallagher introduced the term risk management in the Harvard Business Review, volume 34. But the point I'm trying to make is that all of the main tools and techniques of project management are quite recent. Now let's think about the building of the pyramids, and that's often stated as one of the first projects. Each one is a very large temporary endeavour that was created as a unique product. This means that by definition, the creation of each pyramid passes a test for a project, because if you remember, the pyramids were built for the death of a pharaoh before the pharaoh was actually dead usually, and so that means you'd be working on quite a tight time scale, and so it wasn't considered an operation. Actually, one of the things that really surprised me was I always thought that pyramids had been built by teams of slaves, because that's what we learned in high school. But what was later discovered was that in Egypt they had a type of national service where everyone, when they were late teenagers, they would serve a couple of years of national service, which would include all of the skills for building the pyramids. Okay, so back to the pyramids. We know that they're now a project, but they did not have the tools and techniques of project management. So then they fail the test for being managed by project management. And so this proves that projects can be completed without project management. The PMBOK guide says that effective project management helps individuals, groups, and public and private organizations to meet business objectives, to satisfy stakeholder expectations, be more predictable, increase chances of success, deliver the right products at the right time, resolve problems and issues, respond to risks in a timely manner, optimize use of organizational resources, identify, recover or terminate failing projects, manage constraints, for example scope, quality, schedule, costs and resources, balance the influence of constraints on a project, example increased scope may increase cost or schedule, and manage change in a better manner. Now when you come to the examination, you'll find there's 200 questions. All of the questions are multiple choice and you're choosing from 4 answers. And you will find there could be a question which will ask something like, how does project management help an organization? And it will be a list of several from the list which I've just read will be the correct answer. The PMBOK guide goes on to say that poorly managed projects or the absence of project management may result in missed deadlines, cost overruns, poor quality, rework, uncontrolled expansion of the project, loss of reputation for the organisation, unsatisfied stakeholders and failure in achieving the objectives for which the project was undertaken. And again, there could be a question in the examination for examples of how the absence of project management can harm an organisation, and they'll be chosen from that list. The PMBOK guide makes an important point that projects are a key way to create value and benefits in organisations. Yet strangely, the definition of a project and the definition of project management do not mention benefits. So if you're familiar with Prince 2, this might seem a bit strange to you. With each passing year, organisations are called upon to do more with less, and I'm sure you're probably in that situation. They have to become ever more efficient. They need to reduce costs and delivery times, but without reducing quality. And that's why on the news we see so much interest in machine learning, artificial intelligence and robots. The robots can either be the type of mechanical robots that build cars, or they could be the software type robots which can enter thousands of invoices in 10 seconds or something. And these are all examples of trying to do more with less. And the only way that they can succeed is by ensuring that projects are managed using robust project management. Otherwise, they will be a drain on the resources instead of adding to their efficiency. And going forward, I can see more and more organisations adapting agile methods of delivery. And you can see that the PMBOK Guide 6th edition has introduced a lot of information on agile methods. Now, there won't be a lot of this asked on the examination. It'll be quite a high level, but still it's coming into the PMBOK. And not only that, whenever you buy the PMBOK Guide, or if you're a member of PMI, you can download an electronic version of the PMBOK Guide free of charge. It also comes with a book on PMI Agile Methods. And that brings us to the end of the importance of project management. Please remember to learn the definition of project management for the exam, and also refresh your memory on the list of advantages of project management and the disadvantages of not having project management, in case you get an examination question that too. The next lesson is 1.3, relationship between project, program, portfolio and operations management. Please read the corresponding chapter in the PMBOK Guide before watching the video, so that you can have a good relationship with this course.